Origin Gents, home procedure reaction. This is Miscellaneous Miss Hyacinthus by the channel Ori Sarcastic production. This one was surprisingly frequently requested, okay? It also turned out to be super short, which was convenient for me. Well, I like longer stories from OSP because this is one of the extremely few, very few channels that I really look forward to with more detailed stories and history, I guess, especially about mythologies because it's really fun. All the Greek mythologies and different type of mythologies of the world. So, I guess it's short because there was not much to this, I guess. But yeah, it's still going to be fun. So prepare for the timeless love story between love-lorn, frequently rejected sun god Apollo. Oh yeah. And Hyacinthus, the Spartan prince who actually said yes to a date. I bet this ends super well and nobody dies at all this time. Yep, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's an Apollo story and somebody's going to die. Alright, so I guess we know what to look for. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast whole playlist like OSP, reaction, tier Zoob, CGP Gray, history, and yeah, let's do this one.
So Apollo's got a bit of a reputation when it comes to how his relationships generally end. I mean, for a guy with an oracle on his payroll, he was really bad at finding people who would actually date him. I mean, Daphne, Castalia, Cassandra, Acantha.
Look, when you're son of Zeus, who basically, Zeus and his sibling basically went through getting eaten by their own father Kronos, then they had to kill him. And then Zeus consumed his wife because apparently there was some prophecy that the second son from that wife or something is going to be more powerful than Zeus. So he's like, fuck that, I can't have that. So if you have family like that, is it really something to wonder like Apollo has some relationship issues? Of course he does, after all that shit. I mean, his father is Zeus of all people.
Bolina, Acro, Leucades. Considering how many of Apollo's potential dates flung themselves off of cliffs or turned into various pieces of local flora just to avoid him, it's amazing the poor guy even tried anymore. But surprisingly, Apollo did manage to have a few functional relationships. Kind of. At the very least, there were relationships he was in where he wasn't actually directly responsible for their tragic resolutions. The most famous of these is probably the romance of Apollo and Hyacinthus. Now, Hyacinthus is a young Spartan prince, and his primary defining feature is that he's super pretty. There's also apparently some evidence that he might actually be a pre-Hellenic deity of some sort. Anyway, bottom line is he's majorly cute, and Apollo goes all head over heels for him. Surprisingly, considering Apollo's track record, springing this on Hyacinthus does not send him screaming into the hills or turn him into a plant, and instead they end up getting along famously. So that's cool. Unfortunately for everyone involved, Apollo isn't the only one who noticed Hyacinthus, and the lad actually has another deific admirer in the form of Zephyr the West Wind.
Zephyr, the West Wind, isn't Zephyr the apparently god of the wind, but I guess for a certain time only, like she said, I guess West Wind, so Zephyr is supposed to signify I guess spring is coming or something like that. I don't know, I don't remember exactly something about it. I remember reading about something because something in the game was named Zephyr, so I'm like, what is that? And yeah.
Also, unfortunately, Zephyr has no idea how to express his feelings properly and just ends up stewing in his own jealousy while Apollo and Hyacinthus run around doing cute couple things. Also, unfortunately, Zephyr subscribes to the if I can't have you, no one can school of romance, so one day when Apollo is showing Hyacinthus how to throw a discus, Zephyr decides to take the opportunity to kill Hyacinthus by shifting the winds and sending the discus into the side of his head. So that's
this took a dark turn like that. This comes back to the, I always said that Greek mythologies are different, right? I mean, in Christianity and all the other stories like that, there is always some form of moral teaching, some form of. I mean, if it's, good moral or just, fucked up moral, but there is a teaching nonetheless. In Greek mythology, it's simple, the gods were doing some shit, mortals got involved and became the collateral damage. No justice, no nothing, that's what happened. I mean, that's just effed up. And really, Zeph is like, okay, I don't know how to approach this, and I'm super jealous. And I like that guy, but apparently I'm gonna kill him. Okay. It just turned really dark from here.
Sucks. Apollo transforms the dying Hyacinthus into a flower to preserve his life and beauty forever, writes a little bit of emo poetry on the petals, and goes off to cry to Hermes.
Alright. I don't know why, because, it took so dark turn with Zephyr. I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm seeing it like still horror film type of thing. Like Apollo turned Hyacinthus into a flower, and then I don't know why I'm imagining Hyacinthus, I guess, crying in horror, like, oh, I'm an abomination, I'm flower. He's still in pain because he's a flower now, rather than being dead. I don't know. It's just after up, man. Yeah, Apollo, poor Apollo, isn't it? It just ends in tragic. I love somebody in the comments just said that, with Apollo's example, is it any wonder why Artemis decided to skip the whole love and sex thing? Yeah. Wait a minute, Artemis is also Zeus's daughter, right? I guess the same thing applies. He's like, okay, with my father running around raping everybody, tragic thing that happens to Apollo. You know what, screw that, I'm just gonna love my hunting thing, that's it. When think about it, didn't Zeus rape Persephone, his daughter? I remember, reading somewhere about her story that apparently she was so good looking that every Olympian was trying to, I guess, get her or something. So her mother or somebody just hid her, but Zeus apparently reached that anyway and just proceeded to do Zeus thing. I mean, that's just effed up. So wait a minute, did Zeus did something to Artemis long ago that nobody knows, and that's why Artemis like, screw that. I mean, she's scarred somehow. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but yeah, this is why I like Greek mythology. It's fun.
About it. On the plus side, this love interest didn't turn into a plant until after the second date. The mirror on my wall.
On the other hand, he didn't get to turn into God like Psyche and Ganymede. Ganymede got to be a moon, so I guess that's something. So Hyacinthus did still kind of end up with the short end of a stick. Oh, really? I mean, that's just effed up. It's like, I'm not a god. I'm not even some kind of a moon. And I just died. What the hell?
Cast an image.
Well, at least Apollo was crying over you and wrote things on a flower. So that's something.
Dark and small.
There are a lot of stories about Greek pretty boys turning into flower. Yeah, that's just effed up, isn't it? I always think that every mythology has some kind of truth behind it. So I'm just thinking that some kind of a rich and noble man or whatever, the rich high class people of the time basically raped these pretty boys and killed them, and just spread this mythology around to say that the gods did that. And they're still alive because they are flowers now, so people don't get pissed off about this suddenly pretty boys, I guess, disappearing. Gods are doing it and they are flower now. What can you do? I don't know, that's what I'm thinking.
But I'm not sure at all, it's my reflection.
Narcissus is the big one, but he's obviously not the only one. I mean, yeah. But yeah, Narcissus, I mean, he was narcissist. That's where the word comes from. I don't know why I'm thinking right now that, why Narcissus was like that, just, only caring about him. He was a bit of an a-hole when we saw that video, obviously. He made somebody kill themselves or something like that. That's just effed up. I'm just imagining somebody just saying, Narcissus, you are so, I guess the word has invented it because you're the original. You're so you, I guess. Yeah, that's just... There's zero mythological evidence to support it, but I like to think that Dionysus runs a bar on Olympus where everyone comes to chill and or drown. There's this is so good. I mean, she should write some kind of her own, this kind of a only sarcastic type storyline of Greek mythology. And I guess pitch it to some animator or somewhere who can create some kind of show or something. It would be awesome.
Blinded by the light of God and
Zeus definitely has the most mortal lovers who meet horrible ends. Yeah. But Apollo usually directly responsible for his lovers meeting horrible ends. Frequently the price of turning down is getting cursed or turned into a piece of landscape. I mean, yeah, when he says like, my dad is doing all this thing and he's getting everything. When I'm not getting, I'm gonna curse you. Still daddy issues, I guess.
Truth and right, and I wander in the night without.
Wonder if Artemis spends the time chilling on the moon, watching Apollo be the world's worst dude, scorned, stereotype, and cursing his potential souls left and right, and just mutters, and my refusal to wallow in this sort of drama makes me the weird twin. Yeah. I think it's a weird family. Weird father, all the shit that happens to brother. Yeah, I see where Artemis is going, I guess.
Direction. So
yeah. Alright, that was Hyacinthus. If you like my Rickson, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the Rickson, did this link in the description. Check out the cast wall, please. Check out the end cards, and I guess I'll see you next time.